Hey everyone, DCB here again. Well, I did it. I managed to pack up my entire operation and relocate into my new workshop. If you didn't already know, the place that I worked out of and also lived in for the past couple years was a warehouse that I rented in Hartford, South Dakota, which is about 20 minutes west of Sioux Falls. Um, it was a pretty good location for what I needed at the time, but I didn't like the fact that I was renting it. The plan was to only temporarily be there until my fiance and I could find a home that had a workshop on the property that I could use. Um, we eventually came across this place in Lenox, South Dakota, which is about 20 miles south of Sioux Falls. The home is an old farmhouse built in 1900, but it was completely remodeled inside with modern amenities and stuff, but it still has that old farmhouse charm to it. And then on the property is this workshop. So the main area here of my workshop is just a little over 500 square feet. So I was able to get all my tools and everything into the new shop here. Um, it's a little cramped in my power tool area. My saws and sanders and stuff, they all kind of live here, but I don't use those so much. So when I need them, I just pull them out and work with it that way. I now also have this dedicated shipping station for doing packages. And then I bought this hopper for packing peanuts so I can keep that suspended from the ceiling and not have to have bags of peanuts all over the floor. It really saves a lot of space and it's quite enjoyable to use. I have this area here devoted for my metal casting. I have so many bars I have to make for the Big Mac jail and the merry-go-round. This area here is where I'm going to do my silicone mold making as well as the resin casting that I put in pressure pots. Here's my giant orange cabinets that I store a bunch of my tools and stuff in, and obviously use for my backdrop here. These things weigh a ton, and sadly, when I was moving it in the truck, one of them fell and just completely mangled the doors, but I was able to kind of bend them back into shape, so it's all good there. I love these cabinets, but they weigh a ton, and I never want to move them again. No fun. My neighbor at the old warehouse was a welder, and he had made these metal shelf towers that he was throwing away. So I grabbed them, and now I use them to stack my 3D printers on, and that saves a lot of floor space. This corner is where I'm going to do my rotocasting. I made this dedicated shelf to store my resins as well as have a spot where I can measure everything out. This was always such an issue at the last place. But after having the old space, I kind of figured out what works and what doesn't, and now I use that to better set up this new place. This table is solely dedicated to making the cards and bubbles for my Product Pals figures. There's a lot of steps and tools needed for that process, and this is just for the cards. The actual figures themselves, that's a whole other story. But they're getting finished up. I have about 70% of them done now and shipped out. The rest of them will be going out very soon, so promise on that. In the back corner here is my favorite part of the workshop, which is my little cozy office that I keep my computer desk in, and then also my collection of ridiculous tchotchkes. I finally have the wall space for my collection of Jack Pack grocery store toys. These are my favorite things that I've been collecting for a few years now, but never had a place to properly display them. The artwork on them is exactly the kind of stuff that I just love so much. And you may have noticed that I use a lot of this art in my promotional stuff and in my videos. Um, in addition to the many Jackpack products that I own, I also have a couple dealer catalogs and have been really researching this company. I tracked down and talked to the founder's daughter, and I'm planning on putting together a whole history of Jackpack videos sometime in the near future, if anyone would be interested in that. This pots and pans set is actually the first Jackpack that I found, and I got that in a junk shop here in Sioux Falls, and that got my interest in Jackpack started. And this graphic here of the two kids is obviously what I used as an inspiration for the drawing I did of myself and Tina, and then had the 3D version done up by my friend, and then the figures I made off of that. I'm also doing a 4-foot tall version of these that I'll be putting together and putting out in our yard here. So that'll be fun. The other stuff in my office is just random things that I've managed to hold on to as I've been buying and selling pop culture artifacts for the past 30 some odd years. I've had many collections over the years, but I tend to cycle through stuff and sell stuff off. But the things here I kept aren't necessarily the most expensive or desirable to anyone. It's just some of the things I personally enjoyed the most. And that's exactly what I think collecting should be, I think. Collecting what you like and not necessarily what's the hot item. One thing I do have that probably has some value to most collectors are these carded figures from Star Wars, Battlestar Galactica, Black Hole, and Buck Rogers. I'm not actually a sci-fi fan for the most part, but I've always had a soft spot for these figures. And here's the rest of my stuff. I don't really have a theme going. It's just colorful stuff I find appealing. It doesn't have to be stuff from my childhood either. I don't like to restrict my interests to such a small window of time. I like bits and pieces from most all decades, actually, except the 1950s. And just outside my office door, I have this Timex display that I've got, and it's just filled up with more random, colorful bits and baubles. And in this case, here are the Josie and the Pussycats and Addams Family baubles that my pal, Mr. Frothy, made years ago. Go check out his stuff on Instagram. Through these doors is my paint booth. It's really just a side garage, but the previous owner had put in a fan in the wall, exhausting it to the outside. So I'm pretty sure that's what he used this room for as well. It's not as big as my previous paint booth, but that's okay because I ended up only using a very small portion of that old booth and used the rest for storage. So it's kind of a waste of space. So in reality, it's just about the same working size as the old one. And right outside this door is the outside world with grass and trees and stuff, not just a big parking lot. And under the porch here is Apple. She loves this new place. She likes to come outside every day now and goes on adventures and finds new friends and brings me dead gifts. So that's it. That's the new place. I'm pretty excited about it. It's nice to actually own a place that I feel like it's mine and I can do what I want to it. Everything's all set up and I'm back into production mode with the McMinis and the Product Pals. So thanks again, everyone who ordered those. They're coming along, shipping out. I think I'm going to close the run on those soon here. So if you're on the fence about ordering them, you might want to get in on that soon because I need to close that and get caught up. And I'm going to start on to something else soon. So get your orders in now before I close that. All right. Thanks everyone for joining me on my tour. Hope you enjoyed it. See ya.
Darn, that's the end.
Thanks everyone for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe to this channel and follow us on Instagram or Facebook at Dustin Cropsboy. Also check out our TeePublic page for t-shirts you can buy to help support this channel, or just go to the website dcbvarietyhour.com for all the links.